So it's that time of year again, right? You've got the fresh start, the brand new planner, that feeling that this year things are finally going to be different. But let's be real, we all know how the story usually goes. We set these massive goals in January and we're totally burned out by February. But what if the problem isn't your goal? What if the problem is the launch? Today we're talking about a totally different way to do things, one that treats your new year less like a grand opening and more like a soft launch. Come on, admit it. Does this look familiar? I bet you have a note on your phone that looks almost exactly like this one. And it feels amazing to write, doesn't it? You feel so motivated, so powerful, like you're just one day away from becoming this unstoppable productivity machine. But let's just be honest with ourselves for a second. Why does all that incredible, powerful motivation just disappear a couple of weeks into the new year? I promise you, it is not because you're lazy or because you lack discipline. The problem isn't you at all. It's the entire approach. It's basically a setup for failure. So let's actually put a name to this whole thing. We'll call it the resolution trap. It's this predictable cycle that so many of us fall into every single year, and I think it's about time we finally understand how it works so we can get out of it. Okay, here's the absolute core of the issue. We go from holiday burnout mode, eating cookies, sleeping in, just relaxing, to trying to become David Goggins in like 24 hours. We expect our brains to just get on board with this radical overnight transformation, but our brains hate that. They totally rebel. And that rebellion, it usually looks a lot like procrastination and feeling guilty. And that feeling leads us right into this classic psychological pitfall. You know how it is. You go to the gym on January 2nd. You feel incredible. But then you oversleep on the 5th. And that all or nothing part of your brain just kicks in and says, well, you already blew the perfect streak. Might as well just give up now. One tiny little slip-up suddenly feels like a complete and total failure. So what is the alternative to this all-or-nothing trap? What if, instead of trying to launch this perfect version of yourself on January 1st, we just reframe the entire month? What if we treated it like a beta test for your life? Think about how your favorite app gets updated, right? The developers don't just push it out to millions of people and hope for the best. No way. They run a beta test. They let a small group of users find all the bugs and the glitches so they can fix them before the official launch. We need to start doing the exact same thing for our habits. All right, let's put these two approaches side by side. The hard launch, that's the old way. It's all or nothing. It demands you basically install a brand new operating system on your brain overnight. But the soft launch, it's all about collecting data. It's actually designed for error because errors are just data points. It's about making little tweaks to the system you already have, with the real start date being February 1st. Okay, so how do we actually put this whole beta test idea into practice? It's not just a fuzzy mindset. It's a real, concrete plan. Let's break down the super simple 3-phase roadmap for your January that's going to set you up for a year you can actually sustain. It's simple. We start with what's called a vibe check for the first 2 weeks. Then we move into the debug phase for the second half of the month. And finally, the official launch happens on February 1st. Let's dig into what each of these means. For the first 2 weeks of January, your only job, is to collect data. That's it. Pick, say, 3 new habits you want to try. But here is the most important part. You have to slash the goal by 75%. Your mission is not to be perfect, it's just to notice what feels difficult. And hey, if you miss a day, who cares? It's not a failure, it's just another data point. Let's look at a super practical example. Your big, ambitious goal might be to study for 2 hours a day. Awesome. But for the soft launch, your only goal is 20 minutes. I know, it feels way too easy. But you're not trying to get a 4.0 in the first 2 weeks. You're just trying to build the simple habit of showing up. That's the win. And this right here is where the real mindset shift happens. Every single time you think, I can't do this, you haven't failed. You've just found something incredibly important. Thinking, I'm too tired to study at 8 a.m. isn't a failure. It's a bug report. I got really anxious when I put my phone away is just another bug report. This is all valuable information. So all that data you collected in phase 1 leads us right into phase 2, the debug. From January 15th to the 31st, you just look at your bug reports and you start tweaking the system. Your data says you're too tired for a 5 a.m. workout? Great. You just learned you're not a morning workout person, so try 6 p.m. instead. You can't focus at your desk? Cool. Maybe the library's your spot. You're not forcing a system that doesn't work. You're designing one that actually does. By the time you get to the end of January, you should have a routine that genuinely fits you. It shouldn't feel like some awful chore you have to suffer through. It should feel like your own optimized operating system, one that you built from real-world data about your own life, your own energy, your own personality. And all of this brings us to phase 3, the official launch. This is where all that low-pressure data collection and all that debugging finally pays off, setting you up not just for a good February, but for the entire rest of the year. This is it. This is your official launch day. Think about it. While everyone else is quietly giving up on their resolutions, feeling all guilty and defeated, you are just getting started. You've spent 30 days practicing, tweaking your system and building momentum without any of the pressure. Now you're ready to really ramp things up. And that is the real magic here. You haven't just copied some perfect influencer's 5 a.m. morning routine from the internet. You've built a system based on your own reality. And because it's yours, it's actually sustainable. But listen, there is one final boss you have to defeat, and that is the comparison trap. Because while you're in your quiet little beta testing phase, you're going to see people online posting about their perfect January. Just remember, they are either lying or they are sprinting full speed towards a massive burnout cliff. Don't even look at their race. You just focus on your own debug session. Ultimately, this whole thing boils down to one powerful idea. Give yourself permission to be the tortoise in January. This deliberate, slow start is precisely what gives you the energy and the momentum to be the hare for the other 11 months of the year. So I'll leave you with this final thought. You don't even have to wait for January 1st to start this process. What is one tiny friction point, one small bug in your routine right now that you could start debugging this week?